What may have prompted a violent overnight attack in Lakeside.
Live from the Scripps Studios, this is San Diego's news source, 10 News.
Halfway through the week, it is Wednesday, March 13th, and you're waking up to what's brand new and happening now. I'm Kaushal Patel.
And I'm Bill Griffith. At 4:30, of course, we're keeping an eye, as the rest of the world is, on the Sistine Chapel, and we'll let you know what happens there the minute something happens. But we want to keep you up to date with your weather and traffic, beginning with Robert Santos in the 10 News Pinpoint Weather Center. We understand there's a fog advisory, eh?
Yeah, fog advisory once again in effect through about 9 o'clock for our coastal areas. In fact, I'm seeing a little thicker this morning and more widespread. Now, let's take a look at a live sky cam over UCSD. This particular area, we could still see those city lights right there on UTC. 52 degrees there, dew point about 51. When those are close, yep, we have an opportunity to get some fog. Sun will rise at 7:01. There's our visibility map here. Look at San Diego at 0, Carlsbad 0, Camp Pendleton 0. So that's basically calling for looking at less than a mile for visibility, sometimes less than a quarter of a mile in spots. So your coast planner shows that after the fog does burn off, we're looking after 8, 9 o'clock, we go to about 69 with lots of sun for today at your lunch hour. In the inland valleys here, we'll warm up another 3-4 degrees. Very warm at the lunch hour. We're looking at even mid to upper 70s then. All right, coming up in about 10 minutes, the 10 News Pinpoint extended forecast showing when we start to see even warmer temperatures. Melissa Messia now with 10 News Time Saver Traffic.
Yes, I ran into some fog on my way to work. You might as well. So if you're heading out for your morning drive, you want to watch out for fog and also that morning construction. We're dealing with lots of it up here in the North County. Right now, eastbound and westbound 78, the connector to the 5 is closed, so something you want to watch out for. A little north of that on the 76, Palma Reservation Road. Right now, we do have a semi blocking a lane there, so traffic hazard reported here at 432. But staying in the North County and traveling down the 15, if you're going to be taking that heading southbound from the 78 down to the 52, we are looking at a 21-minute commute, so no major holdups there. We'll move on over to downtown. That is coming up here next.
Melissa, don't go away now. 4:32 happening now. More than 1 billion Catholics around the world and nearly 1 million in San Diego County are waiting for word that a new pope has been elected. Within the last 45 minutes, the College of Cardinals voted in the locked Sistine Chapel, and they sent black smoke up from the chimney, signaling they had not elected a pope this time around. Melissa Messia back now with what's going to happen, though, once the new pope is elected. No?
And Bill, right now the world really is watching. The Cardinals returned this morning, praying again today for guidance as the 115 electors cast another round of ballots to elect a new pope. Live pictures here from Vatican City, where it's 1:30 in the afternoon. So once a new pope is selected, how long will it be before the world's more than 1 billion Catholics know who the new pope is? Now, once the world sees white smoke, the Dean of Cardinals will ask the newly elected pope if he accepts the results. And if he does, he from that moment is the new pope and chooses his name. Next, he walks to the nearby Room of Tears, named that because some newly elected popes have cried there in the past. He then dons his new robe, puts the papal ring on his finger, and is led down the Hall of Blessings to the central window of St. Peter's Basilica. There he will be introduced to the masses with a simple Latin phrase, Habemus Papam. We have a new pope. Now here in San Diego, the next pope on many people's minds. Right now on Twitter, keywords Pope, Sistine Chapel, and Rome are all top trending. Melissa Messia, 10 News.
Melissa, thank you. 10 News, of course, keeping very close watch on Conclave. And whenever the Cardinals announce their vote, ABC News will break into programming to bring you the outcome regardless of what it is. We also have live results after every vote on 10news.com, as well as our free smartphone app for results while you are on the go.
33 minutes after 4 o'clock, back here at home, breaking overnight. A police chase ends with a man barricading himself inside the bathroom of a smoke shop. 10 News reporter Marie Cornell is live in Rolando with how the man was eventually caught. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Kaushal. After that chase, that man ran into this smoke shop right behind me. That's where he locked himself in a bathroom before crawling up to the attic. Let's now get to some video that shows you police officers surrounding this shop, some with guns in hand. Others had their canines ready to storm inside to get that man out of the attic where he was hiding. Now, after some time, he was escorted out of the building in handcuffs. He clearly was having trouble walking. We know he was taken to the hospital hospital for his injuries. Now back out here live, we can tell you that police initially trying to pull that driver over because that car came up as stolen. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, we'll have more on what police found as soon as they looked inside of that car. We're live in Rolando this morning. Marie Cornell, 10 News.
Marie, thank you. 434, 51 degrees and breaking overnight. A man's recovering in the hospital after being stabbed in the head. 10 News reporter Hannah Mullins live outside the fast food restaurant in Lakeside where it happened with what police believe, or what the sheriff there believes, led to the attack. Good morning, Hannah.
Good morning, Bill. And from what we understand, it may have not actually happened here, but we do know he was here at this McDonald's. And we want to warn you, the first image may be too graphic for some of our younger viewers. In the video, you can see the handle sticking out of his head. It's like something out of a scary movie, and you can only imagine the horror felt after being stabbed in the head. Now, sheriff's deputies have just told us they believe it actually happened in Santee and say his family called for help. Now, first responders found the victim at the McDonald's in Lakeside, where paramedics from the Lakeside Fire District bandaged his head. Deputies tell 10 News they have reason to question the victim's story, and he may have been withholding information. Now, we have been talking to someone who knows him out here and has just said it started with a fight. They also said the blade went in 3 inches. Now, we do know Lakeside medics transported him to Sharp Memorial. We're also hearing this could be connected to some sort of robbery. A lot of new information coming in, so we're going to bring you an update coming up in just the next 30 minutes. For now, we're live in Lakeside. Hannah Mullins, 10 News.
Hannah, thank you. 36 minutes after 4 happening today, President Obama will talk to House Republicans to try and reach a deficit deal. ABC's Devin Dwyer has more on the plans each side is putting forth.
As the budget battle heats up, a meeting of political arch rivals. President Obama and all House Republicans together today for the first time in nearly 2 years.
This is an invitation. Show us how to balance the budget. If you don't like the way we're proposing to balance our budget, how do you propose to balance the budget?
Ryan's plan would balance the budget in 10 years without raising taxes, but repealing the president's health care law, converting Medicare into a voucher-style system, and cutting federal pensions.
It's deja vu all over again. His budget is anything but balanced, anything but fair.
Today, Senate Democrats unveil a plan of their own, a 50-50 mix of tax hikes and spending cuts. It won't balance the budget, but President Obama told ABC's George Stephanopoulos in an exclusive interview that's not the goal.
My goal is not to chase a balanced budget just for the sake of balance. My goal is how do we grow the economy, put people back to work, and if we do that, we're going to be bringing in more revenue. If we've controlled spending and we've got a smart entitlement package, then potentially what you have is balance.
Hey guys. Mr. President, what do you hope to accomplish with these meetings? Good to see you.
Mr. Obama's budget blueprint is still a work in progress, but he's reaching out to lawmakers to find common ground with 4 trips to Capitol Hill over 3 days.
I think the outreach that he's been having is a good thing. I'm all for it.
One reason for the new spirit of cooperation, changing public opinion. In the latest ABC News Washington Post poll, Republicans have narrowed the gap with President Obama on who's more trusted to handle the economy. Devin Dwyer, ABC News, Washington.
New this morning, Democratic Assemblyman Ben Whishaw is the winner of the special election in the 40th Senate District. Whishaw topped the 4-candidate field with 52% of the vote, with all precincts reporting. Seat was left vacant by Juan Vargas when he was elected to Congress in November.
Today, we expect to hear revealing and compelling testimony from detectives who investigated the mutilation murder of Marine wife Brittany Kilgore. Defendants Luis Perez, Dorothy Maraglino there, and Jessica Lopez are accused of killing Kilgore last year and dumping her nude body in Riverside County. Detectives are expected to say the 3 mutilated and murdered Kilgore because she wouldn't take part in their bondage and sadomasochistic group. On the stand Tuesday, a woman who said she was part of the Fallbrook sex ring testified that Perez and Maraglino met during an abduction game and talked about their abduction fantasies before Brittany Kilgore's murder.
Sometimes it was planned and the person knew it was coming. Sometimes it seemed more like an actual fantasy where the person did not suspect what was going to occur.
The preliminary hearing is expected to last until Friday, when the judge will determine if the 3 should stand trial.
There will be increased security again today for students at an elementary school in Vista after a man tried to kidnap a girl on campus. 10-year-old Rosalie Sanchez was volunteering with the School Safety Patrol Monday afternoon at Foothills Oak Elementary. That's when she said a man drove up to her and said, "Get in the car. Your mom sent me to come pick you up." The girl ran to the school office and called her mother. That man still has not been found.
4:39 happening today, a free workshop for 50 North County school leaders and parents and health professionals and community planners, all about ways to make the community safer. This comes on the heels of the attempted kidnapping in Vista Koshal just told you about. The workshop starts at 9 at the California Center for the Arts in Escondido.
39 minutes after 4 o'clock, and boy, some of us are gonna have to use our air conditioning today.
No.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
especially inland, yeah. And you know, it just reminded me, we were talking about schools, that some of the schools down in the South Bay, I think, yeah, you do have half day, so you get to enjoy the weather even more so once you get off from school. But yeah, yesterday I was out in La Mesa and felt just how warm it is, then went out to the coast and just how cool it is. So we're going to kind of have that still tug of war between the offshore-onshore flow. Talk about this morning first, dense fog advisory through about 9 o'clock this morning for the coast. You see those areas in the gray spreading a few miles inland from the coast as well. One of the areas where we're seeing some fog, Imperial Beach, 2nd and Elm, 52 degrees there, and the dew point at 52. So the area is pretty saturated out there. So just a heads up as you head on out. Looks like Otay Mesa and Chula Vista in the low 50s for temperatures. If you're going to Coronado, 56 degrees right now. Seeing a lot of 50s this morning, in part because of the clouds that we're seeing, and in part because we have an easterly wind. It's not too strong, just a breeze here and there, but it is enough to warm us up. Look at Julian's, 57 degrees, the same temperature as the mountains right now. So area of high pressure, once again, that offshore flow still in effect for us over the next few days, and that's what's really going to start to warm us up as those winds come down the mountains and into the valleys. They warm up, and that's where we're getting this pretty nice warm up, not only today, but for tomorrow, a little bit of Friday, and then we start to back down. Here's where it's stormy across the country. You got the Midwest and then out towards the northeast, but otherwise, everybody else enjoying some really nice weather. Our temperatures here, look at Orlando, 76, 70s all across the south. And now we are in on some of that warmth as well. So take a look at the 10 News pinpoint extended forecast here. So we can count on some low 70s there, and also that morning fog really over the next several days into next week as well. And then cooler back into the 60s, closer to average on the weekend. Then inland 7-day forecast here will go from the 80s for the next 3 days. Temperatures will drop into the 70s, still going to be nice over the weekend into next week. All right, in about 10 minutes, we'll check where there's fog in other neighborhoods. For now, let's get to Melissa Macia now.
And good morning. Well, right now here on the 5, a little bit of road work left along the coast here. Southbound 5, right at Las Flores Road. The off-ramp is closed, and Robert and I will be talking about it all morning. Fog for your morning commute. You can definitely see it here. This is the 5 right by Laurel Street. Usually you can see those downtown buildings there in the background. Not the case this morning, so something you want to watch out for as you hit the road. We'll go ahead and move on over to the South Bay. That's coming up here next.
4:42, terrifying ordeal. Witnesses described the chaos after a man was shot trying to ram his car into a U.S. Marshal in Claremont.
Plus why Dennis Rodman now says he wants to meet with whoever becomes the next pope.
Of course he does. And why Lance Armstrong says he is confident the American people will forgive him for his doping scandal. You're watching 10 News this morning. 4:45 right now on this Wednesday morning. The Vatican's using all of its available technology to make sure nothing leaks from the Sistine Chapel, but experts say there's still ways around that. They point out that every item from the Cardinals' robes to the furnishings to the stoves could contain a tiny spy device. The oath of secrecy all the Cardinals had to take as they entered the Sistine Chapel is considered sacred, and violating that oath could lead to excommunication. But after Benedict was elected, an unnamed cardinal leaked information about the other top contenders then.
Self-proclaimed ambassador for peace, Dennis Rodman is headed to Rome in hopes of meeting with the new pope once one is chosen. 2 weeks ago, Rodman made friends with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Former basketball star says he plans to be in Vatican City when the papal conclave announces the newest pontiff.
Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel has decided to review the criteria of a recently created drone award. The award, which some call the Nintendo Award, is given to drone operators sitting thousands of miles from the battlefield, but the medal would rank above other medals earned in battle, something which outrages veterans who were in harm's way.
They're good people and they're doing a good job, but they're doing it from a remote area where the level of danger is not in the same realm as certainly it would be with the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart.
The Distinguished Warfare Medal was created by former Defense Secretary Leon Panetta, who said it was time to honor soldiers who were fighting on a new kind of front. Production has been stopped on the medal while Hagel reviews the criteria and makes a final decision.
47 minutes after 4 o'clock, the trial for the accused Colorado movie theater shooter James Holmes will start in August. A judge entered a plea of not guilty for San Diego native Holmes. It's been 8 months since the deadly Aurora movie theater shooting where 12 people were killed. Holmes' parents made a rare appearance to watch Tuesday's hearing, where their son's attorney said he was not ready to enter a plea.
It is a rare beast when a judge enters a plea when the defense says they're not ready to enter a plea.
Now, Holmes can change the plea to not guilty by reason of insanity later if he agrees to the terms set by the judge.
Lance Armstrong says the public will forgive him for doping just as it forgave Bill Clinton for having an affair in office. Armstrong says he saw the rehabilitation of Clinton's reputation as a model for his own, and within 10 years he'll be back on top again too. Armstrong's 7 Tour de France titles and his Olympic medal were all stripped after he admitted to doping.
This morning we have cell phone video sent in by a 10 News viewer showing the chaotic moments after a man was shot trying to ram his car into a U.S. Marshal in Claremont. 10 News reporter Dan Haggerty has an eyewitness's account of what happened.
Police have guns drawn in this cell phone video while paramedics drag a man through the passenger side of this silver car. Here's another look from Sky 10 after a plainclothes federal marshal shot a man in this parking lot.
The guy in the car was yelling, "Help me, help me, help me. I can't breathe, I can't breathe."
Megan Gallardo says she heard the whole thing and pulled out her cell phone, while she says the agent in the white shirt yelled for the man he just shot to put his hands in the air.
And then he put his hand, and he's in the car, and the guy's shaking. He's like, "I can't, I need help," you know. And so then he's like, "You know, if you hadn't done this, you wouldn't have gotten hurt."
All of this happened in the same parking lot as a preschool that was put on lockdown with more than a dozen children inside. Parents showed up but couldn't get their kids, and parents who arrived early became witnesses.
She was coming here to pick up our son, and then as she pulled in the parking, I guess whatever happened, and then she hasn't left since.
Police tell 10 News the U.S. Marshal was in the Claremont area for a separate case, and that the suspect approached the agent randomly and assaulted him with his car, all because police say the man was angry with law enforcement in general.
And we were like, what the heck's going on? You know, it looked like they had just gotten in a car accident and they were shooting at each other.
Police never found a weapon in the suspect's car, but detectives tell me he was arrested for domestic violence in this neighborhood last month, where he became violent with police. Dan Haggerty, 10 News.
4:49, a pilot for the Sheriff's Astrea helicopter is on paid leave this morning after being arrested. This is video of Deputy Stuart Ray from a recent interview with 10 News about lasers hitting pilots. The sheriff will not say why Ray was arrested, only that he's on administrative leave. But 10 News is talking with our sources to confirm what they say happened, and we'll bring that to you as soon as we have confirmed it. Well, this golfer is recovering this morning after the earth opened up and swallowed him. It happened on the 14th hole of the Ambrier Golf Course in Waterloo, Illinois, just outside St. Louis. That's the golfer, Mike Mihal. The earth gave way under his feet. He dropped 18 feet, dislocating his shoulder. Our friend used a ladder to climb down and attach a rope to rescue the 43-year-old Mihal and bring him up. The Southern Illinois sinkhole is now about 30 feet wide. That's it this morning. Woo.
Yeah, that's got to affect your golf game.
I wish that was the kind of hole I was putting into.
Right.
Oh boy, could you imagine when he plays again? And I mean, just having that feeling, that anxiety when he plays at another golf course. 4:51. Good morning to you. Hey, we're tracking where the fog is, and here's one of those spots here in our 10 News Pinpoint Weather Network where we are seeing it. If you look closely, there's a little bit of there's a street light there, and at times you could see how foggy. 53 degrees, dew point about 52. We are also getting reports of numerous delays at Lindbergh Field because of the fog. So if you're just getting ready to head on out to the airport, check your flight. 72 for the coast we're going for today. Inland Valley, so we'll go about the low to mid 80s. The mountains will warm up to about the low 70s, and then the deserts will warm up to the low 90s. In terms of our humidity, our 10 News Pinpoint Futurecast calling for another dry day. Look at the Escondido and El Cajon area in the 20s this afternoon, and then fast forwarding to tomorrow, Escondido will drop again. We'll go 19%, but along the coast 30 to 40%. That's still noticeably dry, especially if you're going to be doing something outdoors. All right, in about 10 minutes, we'll have your day planners, and we'll check what the lunch hour temperature will be today. All right, 10 News Time Saver Traffic. Here's Melissa Messia.
Yes, it is all about the fog this morning. morning. This is what it looks like here in the South Bay. This is the 5 right by H Street. Fortunately, traffic is light, but again, visibility is low this morning. Speeds, however, moving nicely here because again, traffic is light both on the 5 and on the 805. However, northbound, we are still dealing with some construction crews. That's between the 54 up to the 94. That's mostly in the center divider. San Ysidro Port of Entry, you have friends or relatives crossing this morning. Right now, we're looking at 7 regular lanes open, an hour delay. We'll move back up to the North County coming up here next.
Breaking overnight, a deadly accident inside a mine. How many people were killed in the desperate search right now to locate and save the survivors?
And Sarah Palin has a new book she's getting ready to release. What it's all about coming up. You're watching 10 News This Morning, San Diego's news source.